Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to GarageBand Weekly. What was that? And welcome to the show. And this week, apart from the dancing, I have this guy, a special guest. It is Patrick from the GarageBand guy. What is
Hello.
going down, Patrick?
I am great. How are you? Thank you very much for having me on here again.
Absolutely. It seems like every couple of months, I'm like, it has been too long since I've spoken to Patrick, and we don't actually speak apart from on this show. So it's our chance to
Yeah,
actually say
yeah,
and catch up as well. And we figure we might as well share with the rest of you. If you're new here and you don't know what this is, it's GarageBand Weekly. We're normally a little bit more structured than this, but I'm just a bit excited today because we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be covering off a bunch of GarageBand related topics. But before we get started, for the 2% of my audience who don't know who you are, Patrick, why don't you give us a little bit of the down low on what's been going on over on the GarageBand guide lately?
Lots and lots. Yeah, I've been. What hasn't been going on in the GarageBand guide, Pete? The GarageBand
The
guide.
garage. We're gonna. There you go. What are we? 2 minutes down it. We had the garage debate.
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, just a mix of tutorials, reviews, looking at different sexy apps on iOS, all that good stuff that you usually find over there.
Very good. Absolutely. And if you are using GarageBand on a Mac doesn't get a lot of love. And I know that you are cross-platform. You do use your iPad as well as your Mac. And we will talk about Mac and perhaps macOS Catalina. That might be a teaser there because I know that there's still some controversy. You like to stir up a little bit of controversy.
It's Apple. There's always controversy, isn't there?
It's always controversy, but they don't actually know about it or care about it. So that's people are like, oh man, Apple, you and Apple must be talking on like a weekly basis about all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's just say that.
Yeah, me and Tim, yeah.
Yeah, I got Tim on the phone. Yeah, just call him up. Give me some advice, Tim. No, so let's dive in to we'll start with iOS because iOS 14 is about to drop. Have you had a chance to check it out? Are you excited? Are you bored? Do you have any opinion on this iOS update at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, the public beta is out. You can, if you join the beta, which takes 2 seconds, you can install it on your devices. But of course, Apple do say to not install it on your main device source. Installed on my main device, and it's great actually. Like, it's quite cool. Can you see that? Ooh.
Oh, there you go.
Widgets on your home screen. Wow. It's actually really stable. Everything works, nothing broken, which is quite a feat for Apple, really, especially with betas. I remember that iOS 13 beta last year was a bit of hot garbage. But no, this one's really good.
Well, yeah. Look, to be honest, I've been scared off of all the beta releases for that very reason. Is that I've seen people struggling and having serious issues with them in the past. So, which is silly because I have about 5 different iOS devices. So you'd think at least one of them I could actually throw the beta on there and get up to date. But I kind of like to be. I'm not leading edge or bleeding edge. I'm actually slightly behind the edge. That's the way I sort of approach things. But yeah, I think that. Obviously, the widget stuff is pretty cool. Catching up with Android from 10 years ago, iOS, but there's not really much. Is there anything you've found that you think for audio creating or video creating or any media stuff that's actually going to be much of a game changer?
Nothing really. The only kind of audio focused feature I can see that they are adding is an update to voice memos. So they're making it. Let me see. The most popular audio recording app in the world apparently gets new tools for organizing recordings. Wow. An all-new enhanced recording feature lets you improve the sound quality of your recordings with a single tap. They don't tell you how that works or anything, but apparently it's getting some kind of update. Whether or not that will impact any other audio apps on iOS, who knows? But yeah, that's the only kind of audio-specific feature I could see.
That's that's cool. So you've been further into the weeds than I have because I just sort of scanned down the list after the announcement. Went. Yeah, no, there's nothing there that
it's
I'm
at the bottom of the website. The extra features that's mentioned. Yeah, so.
It was a bit like in iOS 13 with the inter-app audio being deprecated. It was like you had to be going to the developer notes page 412, and then it would just be like, oh, by the way, inter-app audio is going away. I hope you didn't like that back in the day. Oh yeah,
I remember that. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It still hasn't gone away, so don't worry. It still hasn't gone away, and they haven't even announced it's going away in iOS 14. So we don't know at this stage, but hopefully, a lot of the developers have started getting on board with Audio Unit. I think AUV3. There's still a few sort of not failing. That sounds bad. A few that are waving a little behind the game there on that one.
Yeah.
All right, what else is in the news? Well, we don't have much, but I actually saw an interesting video because we were chatting beforehand. I've been sort of thinking about a second-hand Mac, and no, I didn't buy the one from Cash Converters. If you were following me on other social
From
platforms, the
Cashies?
$200 one, good old Cashies. But yeah, I've been looking around. I'm like, yeah, do I get a second-hand Mac? But a lot of folks at the moment are grappling with their Mac OS, and you put out a reasonably controversial view on this a while back around Catalina, the new Mac OS version.
Yeah.
And I noticed, I haven't watched it yet, but I noticed you had a new video on should you update now. So what is the verdict on that one for our Mac using friends using GarageBand?
It's a classic Pete Johns answer in that it depends, really. To be honest, a lot of the main issue that came of Catalina when it first launched were the people producing audio plugins and some gear were actively emailing their customers telling them not to update to it under any circumstances, which is just wild. But then a lot of these companies have kind of updated their plugins and their apps now. So the vast majority of plugins will work now in Catalina. Kind of. You're always going to be safer to check the website of any particular plugins or apps that you can't live without, just to make sure. But there's a lot less of that kind of issue nowadays. But as always, always back up first before you update, just in case. You don't want to be I've heard some horror stories from the community, of just having to completely fresh reinstall everything. So
I think that's we
that's
were
not
talking.
very reassuring, really, is it?
No, it's just like, it'll be absolutely fine. Back up. Make sure you back up.
Yeah,
For the love of God, back up. But it'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. It is an interesting one. I was talking to Patrick before because normally we do a tip of the week, and I'm like, Patrick, I've got nothing this week. Do you have a tip of the week? And he said no. So maybe that is our tip of the week. Our that you should be backing up your everything all the time because. I don't know about your inbox, but my inbox is full of people every week saying, Pete, my project went away and now it's gone. And
how do I get it back? Can you tell me how I get it back, please?
Please fix it.
Sorry.
You're a little out of luck. So do back up. But for any of the folks, by the way, hello to the folks who are here live. I realize that I get so excited just chatting to Patrick that we don't say g'day. So we'll do the rounds here and say hello to folks who are here live. And I'll put a question out to you. Do you have a GarageBand tip of the week? Since Patrick and I got nothing apart from back up, if the folks that are here live, if you want to put tip in a comment and then your tip, some cool GarageBand or music related tip, that would be cool. Let us know. But we'll say hello here. We've got Metallion 58 on board. We've got 1000 watts. Alex Backus over there in Germany. Alex. We got Stu Cash creating some great music with Andy Goldsby over there in the UK. Arnie G is in the house, our friend. The Tom Rochelle. Hello to you.
Keep your receipt.
Deep Gravity will say g'day to you. I'm sure there's many other folks here that I've missed and not said g'day to, but welcome on board. Let's we got a question. Well, it's not quite Q&A, but because we're clicking through here, we'll just throw it up here. Does mobile GB support musical typing if I have a USB keyboard attached? Now, this is, I think GarageBand Mac has the keyboard typing feature, doesn't it? That you can do that. Bad news. No, mobile version does not have the musical typing, which is sad because it should.
It's got all the shortcuts, but none of the.
It does. Yeah,
it's strange, isn't it?
It is very weird because it could be very simple to implement and it's very fun. Like the few times I've used GarageBand on Mac, it's been really cool because if you don't have a MIDI keyboard attached and you just want to play in a really quick melody, you just go do 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 do. Makes it super simple. But unfortunately, Trent, no, not on mobile. But who knows in the future? But yeah, you do have all the keyboard shortcuts. And I hear you with the dang. Absolutely. Righty dokie. Hello to Adrian as well. And while we're doing the question things, hello to Goran. We have another question here from. We might as well just slip into the Q&A here now. If I'm waiting to see if Logic comes out on iOS before choosing between iPad Pro and Mac. What's your opinion? I'm going to throw this one over to Patrick first. What would you do if you were like sitting there and you've got an iPad? Yeah, no, I'm putting you under that. Put you under the bus. What would you be doing right now if your next move? Say, you had an iPad using GarageBand, you want to check out Logic, but you're pretty sure it's going to come to the iPad. Would you go out and buy yourself a Mac now, or would you wait and see what happens?
I mean, you're going to have to buy a Mac and then buy Logic. I don't know. That's a tough one, really. I mean, if you're on an iPad already, it might be an idea to get a Mac, and then you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You can use Logic Remote and stuff, and then obviously you can reassess if Logic does come to when Logic does come to iOS, because it's definitely coming. On the other side of things, though, like, I love my iPad Pro. It's great, and I think if you're coming from like a base iPad, you're going to get a lot of use from all the extra horsepower from the iPad Pro. So I don't know. Pete, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, it's a tough one. I was actually in exactly this boat, Metallion, when I bought my iPad Pro. So I was sitting here, I was like, I'm going to spend about $2,000 Australian. And I looked at it, and I could get an iPad Pro 2025, 12 gig, or I could get myself a reasonable sort of MacBook. And I probably would have had to add a little more to get an actual decent MacBook. But yeah, around about that mark. It wasn't too far off the mark. And eventually I went iPad Pro. Reason being is that I do a lot of, like, what I do on this channel is around the iPad. I tried to think about it in terms of, if I wasn't doing mobile app coverage and having to create videos about mobile apps, which way would I go for pure music production? It would have been a line ball as well. We're going to sit firmly on the fence on this one, I think, this week, because I don't know. The Mac definitely has a lot more flexibility and a lot more features. I think I'm in love with the simplicity and the portability of the iPad. So it really depends. If you just have your studio and you've got your setup and you want to have the ability to do everything you can, I think you're right. If you had a middle level iPad and then a MacBook, you could switch between. You'd have the best of both worlds. But the same token, if you want to put all your eggs in one basket, the iPad Pro is a pretty compelling choice.
Yes.
Oh, tough one. Hard questions here today.
Yeah. Already,
I know. We're only just getting started. Speaking of getting started, so we've been through that. Now, it's kind of related to this one, because you might have noticed, Patrick, that I've been a little bit blasphemous lately. I've been steering the herd away from the GarageBand sheet.
I have noticed, Pete. I've been
really bad analogy. Getting out of my comfort zone, checking out some different apps, checking out some different DAWs on the mobile platform. And I thought I'd throw it out here as a question to you and to the wider audience here, which is, should you consider using a different digital audio workstation, and under what circumstances do you think you should? So for you, Patrick, from the GarageBand Guide, obviously GarageBand is your bread and butter, but you must have been tempted. You must be looking sideways and seeing all these other tempting offerings in the DAW world. What's sort of been your background? Have you tried other DAWs, and what would sort of drag you away kicking and screaming from GarageBand, if anything?
So on iOS, I've only ever really used GarageBand. I was really interested in your series because I was very interested in Audio Pro, and then after watching your video, was less interested and more interested in Cubase's 3, because it seems like a more kind of up to date kind of DAW. So I'm kind of like almost pulling the trigger on buying Cubase's 3 just to kind of give it a whirl, because it looks really interesting. On Mac, I would definitely recommend it. Give other DAWs a try. You absolutely shouldn't kind of close yourself off from these other things. I've certainly dabbled a little bit in Ableton, because you can get free versions of it. Pretty much any bit of gear that you buy nowadays will chuck in a free version of Ableton of some kind anyway. So it's worth kind of installing it and checking it out. I'm quite stuck in my ways. I like a nice linear workflow where you start something and then you kind of do the middle bit and then the end bit and then it's finished. Whereas Ableton's like a non-linear setup, and I don't know, my old man brain just kind of found it quite hard to wrap my head around working in that way, you know what I mean? So, definitely try these things. I'm more comfortable moving on to something like Logic, which I do have, and which has, all the features of GarageBand, plus the extra stuff you might be looking for if you're feeling constrained by it, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And I think you gave the tip last time, and they're probably still offering it, but they're still doing the 30-day free trial for Logic.
I have no idea. I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah, if anyone knows, I know that when the new version came out, they did have a free 30-day trial, so it was basically a no-brainer that you'd try it out and just 90
days. That and Final Cut Pro you could get for 90 days. Yeah,
there you go. We'll
check that when my Final Cut Pro trial ended, because there was no way I was spending 300 quid on it. But it was good fun to play with.
Fun while it lasted. Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Like I said, I tried these, and you would have seen my experience was that yeah, I was the same. Cubase's 3 seemed to be a bit of a natural flow on for me from GarageBand, and I know many folks picked it up. It is on sale right now. I think it's about 15% off. So if you are going to pull the trigger and try something new, jump in and check out Cubase's 3. Aurea Pro. I don't want to talk badly about it because it's super powerful. But the reason that I went to GarageBand, the reason that I use iOS, is that I got so confused by all the desktop DAWs, the likes of Pro Tools and Reaper and all these ones that had all the bunch of menu options, and just again that workflow. Whilst it was linear still,
Yeah,
there were too many options, and I think you can be spoiled for choice to the point of becoming numb. And I would do that. I would open up Reaper on my PC, just see a big blank slate there, and go, "This is too hard," and close it again and walk away. And usually pick up my phone and just start pressing buttons and creating cool like 8-bar loops in GarageBand, and go, "This is actually fun." And shouldn't music be fun? So that's my take on it. But yeah, interested to know what folks think here. And I know that you probably get the same comments I do about, "Hey, dude, why haven't you tried FL Studio? Like, it's fire, 100. But yeah, not just FL Studio. Sorry to the FL Studio users out there, but it seems to be FL Studio. And I love to use my old man line, which is, I haven't used Fruity Loops in years, because I'm pretty sure the majority of FL Studio users don't actually realize that the FL stands for Fruity Loops.
Showing
And
your
if they
age
did,
there, Pete.
they may not use it. All righty. Now, yeah, the tip of the week, as we said, is backup, people. Just, we'll say it again, just back up everything all the time. iCloud Drive gives you no excuse not to back up.
Yes.
Zip it up, put it on Google Drive. You got gigabytes of storage on all your different platforms. Do you have any specific backing up tips? How does Patrick back up his GarageBand? And
they make it really easy on Mac, to be fair. If you have a designated external hard drive that you plug in at the back of your Mac, you can set it up as your iCloud backup drive, and it just does it automatically. You can set it to back up it every day, or you can, and it just adds new stuff you've added since the last backup, and then you can go back in and just reload from any previous day that you've backed up from. So I do that. It's easy. And
that is simple.
Don't have to worry about it.
Mac users get it good again. If you're a PC user, the little iCloud integration into Windows Explorer is clunky and like awful, but it works. So yeah, once you get it installed and you try and work out how to save it in a separate folder, which takes a while because you have to literally go in and hack your registry to do that if you don't want to just put it on your regular C drive, if you have a data drive like me. So yeah, that's a pain in the butt, but yeah, Google it and search it, and then once it's set up, you're good to go. But please, yeah, we don't want to get any more emails and Instagram messages and Facebook messages from people very, very sad because they've just lost hours and hours of work on their project. So back up and then back up again, and then you'll be fine. Yep. Should we talk about a plugin or an app of the week?
Yes,
Let's indeed. And the one we're going to talk about this week, I realize I don't have my iPad set up properly, but we'll come here and display. Here we are. Now, you did a video on this very cool app just a couple of days, or no, about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with it for a while, and it's super duper fun. And it is, if we come in here, it is this one here. It is Sensual Sax, which you have to be careful saying Sensual Sax. But this is, we'll just turn the volume up here. If a lot of people say, where's the cool brass sounds in GarageBand? And there kind of aren't any. There's that weird sort of brass ensemble sound that sounds terrible. But if you want to have a sax sound, if you want to do some sort of 80s grooves, then this one here is very cool, even if you play really lame songs like that. But I think I know, right? That's a copyright strike too. I don't even know why I would say that. Like it's all over now. But the cool thing is this knob here, which I won't say the word of, but you can see it. Sex knob. Oh God. There you go. Sorry, I'm just going to pause. Can you just say that again without my background noise so that I can sample that and put that in my new song?
I said it 9 times in my video, and I'm in the process of chopping up to make a remix of me just going sex knob. Yeah.
So if you grab your sex knob and give it a yank to the right, you can actually get some. You can actually get some very cool, sexy sounds. So yes, do go and check out Sensual Sax. Now, how much is it? You've done it more recently. I think it's about a $10, €10.
How much is it? I can probably tell you. Where am I?
Okay. We're very organised here, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. $4.99 UK. £4.99.
Cool.
£4.99, £4.99.
£4.99. And as you can see here, the beautiful part about this is it is indeed a UV3. So if I was to record, just to show you how this works, you saw me open it up there, or just a solo because it's on this track here. But the beauty part of AUV3 is if we hit record on this one, we can play in. I've got a little bit too much sex on there, Patrick. So we'll come back. But we can adjust that. See, here's the beauty part, because now it's recorded it, but it's a MIDI track. So you've got your green MIDI track there. You can now come in and edit this just like you do any other track. So you've got your ability to do all of your note editing. And then if you think there's too much sex involved, then you can actually come back into the actual plugin and you can turn down the sex. So there you go. And you've got all the different controls over here as well that you can add on and off.
Have you seen on the, there's a, is it up in the top left, there's a settings button. You can change the sex knob to a love knob. Have you scrolled down?
Actually, oh, yeah, there you go. There it is.
Modesty mode, yeah. And it changes it from a sex knob into a love knob.
In fact, I think I put it when I did my review, because I'm such a conservative type. I think I actually did change it to a love knob because, I didn't want to have a big sex knob in the middle of my video.
I'm all about the sex knob. I'm all about the sex knob, Pete.
Oh yeah, you definitely need to do that remix, and it's going to be classy. But anyway,
did you not think when we were going to talk about this plugin, it might have been a bad idea?
I did. I thought it would be entertaining, and I thought it would be fun, and I knew it would go downhill super fast. I'm like, I was going through all of Patrick's more recent videos, and I'm like, oh, what's he done? He's done this, boring compressor plugin, boring like flanger plugin. I'm like, he did Sensual Sax. We're going to be talking about that one. But in all seriousness, or at least some seriousness, because we're never going to be that serious. It is a pretty cool app, and I still haven't found the perfect spot to put it in. To be honest, I've spent more time just noodling with it and playing like old In Excess and Baker Street solos on it.
I was straight into Careless Whisper. Yes. But it's one of those apps I love those kind of apps where it only does one thing, but it does it absolutely perfectly. It's great. Love it.
I agree with it. So do check that out. Will cost you a few dollars. I think it's about $10 or $11 Australian. I think it's about $5 or $6 US and £5 Great British pound. If you're going to be checking that one out. Now, you told me about something pretty cool. I'm just going to move my thing off the screen because I'm going to bring my other screen up here. I do a resource of the week most weeks, and you told me about a very cool new resource that I had never heard about. And while I bring it up on the screen, why don't you tell folks about slaps.com? And I know we've gone from love knobs to slaps. So if you can tell us a little bit about slaps.com, I'll bring it up here on the screen. And
I don't recommend slapping your sex knob. It's a bad idea. So slaps.com, okay, sorry, adults. Slaps.com, it's a platform created by the folks at DistroKid that is very much like SoundCloud circa 2011, 2012. So back then, SoundCloud was all about groups. You could easily connect with other musicians, and it was just really good for collaborating and for meeting like-minded musicians. There was a real community feel to it. Obviously, SoundCloud's SoundCloud's changed a bit since then. It's just a soulless husk of its former self. So Slaps is very much community focused. They have, I don't want to say a gimmick, but it is quite gimmicky in that you have to comment or like a certain amount of other tracks on the platform before you can post your own tracks, and they keep track of it. There is a, what is it called, CTR, so it's a what's it called, comment to track ratio, and it keeps track of that. And when your CTR hits a certain level is when you are allowed to post another of your tracks. So it is very much kind of focused towards giving feedback, providing feedback, and getting involved in some form of musical community, which is great. There's not really enough of that nowadays online, I don't think.
Absolutely. And like you say, SoundCloud is kind of supposed to be that. And now, to be honest, it's mostly producers putting beats up because they saw that one guy do that really well that one time, and now they want to be fire too. So it sounds like it's a lot better.
It certainly seems to be. I've only been on it for a few weeks, and I've posted a couple of tracks, and obviously commented and listened to quite a lot of tracks in order to post those tracks. And I have discovered, a few artists that actually I wouldn't have heard otherwise that I quite like their stuff.
So if I was to search here, Wire Drawn, is that what you're releasing under here?
No, just Patrick Baird, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see if we can find you.
Patrick Baird, the GarageBand Guide, I think I put it under.
Oh, no, doesn't like you.
Well, you're searching for groups, Pete. You're searching for groups. If you look for people.
People.
I'm pointing at my computer screen like that's going to help you.
Oh no, it won't let me search for people unless I join up.
But you can sign in with DistroKid, but I don't know if you want to do that.
I can, yeah. I should probably. It might be too. I should probably have done that. I'll come off here. I'll see if we can, just so that because we've got a couple of minutes. I'll see if I can sign in with my DistroKid while I'm off the screen, so I don't, share my. Oh, it seemed to let me. Did it? I pressed a button and it didn't actually work. Now you can see. Oh, I can see the CTR there. So let's. Now I think I'm in, and just make sure that I'm not showing any passwords here. People found 0 matches. Here you are. All righty. So we'll click you. I'll bring us back on the screen. Oh, that's a handsome profile. Why didn't you send me that profile picture for the thumbnail? Look at that. There you go.
Oh yeah. Ooh. I would have had to Photoshop the background out. I couldn't be arsed, Pete. Sorry.
See, I'm lazy. I just use canva.com. It's got an automatic button. You just go remove background, please, and it goes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's pretty good, actually. It's the paid version of Canva, sorry, not the freebie one, sadly. So there you go. So I can give you fire. There you go.
Yeah.
And is that legitimately fire? Oh, okay, that's pretty fun. So let's take a listen, shall we? Is this a copyright track? Can I play this one?
It's released. It's on Spotify, so you might want to just play a couple of seconds just in case.
Let's jump into the middle here and just play it.
It's alive.
Very cool. I will play.
It's available on all streaming platforms now, kids.
Exactly, available on all streaming platforms. So there you go. See, so it is under Wire Drawn. So yes, you sign up separately, and then you can. And do you link directly from your songs that you've got released, or do you?
No, you upload.
Re-upload. So you can't just use your DistroKid releases and say re-release them on Slaps.
Maybe you can actually. I just uploaded directly from a file on my computer, but you may be able to link. I'm not sure.
Well, this looks very, very cool indeed. Yeah, look, you got 3 fires, so that's the win, right? Fire means win. But yeah, no, it does look like you say. It looks like early SoundCloud, and I know SoundCloud kind of, as you say. I mean, you could say it lost its way, or you could say it needed to commercialize to make money to survive. Either way, it's the same thing, really. So I think Slaps having the power of DistroKid behind it, and we were sort of chatting in the pre-show that similar to platforms like Amuse, where they're free, but then they sort of have an arm that actually helps promote your music. This could be like a bit of a precursor to that perhaps DistroKid and are getting into that sort of game in the future.
Definitely a developing platform, but they're really, I mean, you work with DistroKid as well, obviously. They're good people, but they're quite open to, especially on Twitter and stuff like that, they're quite open to getting feedback, and they'll process any bug fixes really quick if you go to them and say, I found this weird glitch. I've done that a couple of times, and they've replied within the hour and fixed it based on me tweeting them, which is quite good service, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think like most platforms, DistroKid not sort of defend them, but they have had troubles recently with some delays with some releases. If you're a brand new user, mostly because they just got flooded. Seriously, March, April hit, and everyone went, that thing on my bucket list, which was releasing a song, I'm going to do it now, and everyone did it together, and I think their releases went up about 250% or something ridiculous. So nice problem to have. They're doing very well as a platform, but like anything, it is a challenge when you have that amount of overwhelming stuff going on. But same deal with me. Always found DistroKid really responsive and a good way to release your music, which you have done here, which is awesome. So yes, go and check that out. So it is slaps.com, slaps.com. And Josephine, shout out to our friend Josephine over there in Belgium, saying everything you guys say sounds dirty now. I apologize for that. Have you noticed that the shows are not dirty except the ones that Patrick is on, or Mike
Don't
from
blame me.
So yeah.
You're just a bad influence, Pete.
It just brings out my true colors. Oh, righty. I think we're almost at the end here, so I'm just going to scroll up and see. Oh, by the way, yeah, Tom said that actually it's a fantastic app. Speaking of Sensual Sax, yeah. So
Absolutely.
the folks over at I can't remember the name of the company, but they're probably going, "Thanks, guys, for featuring our app and just making fun and laughing at it for 5 minutes." But no, it is that.
They know. Come on.
I mean,
They know.
you don't release an app with a sex knob if you don't have a sense of humor. So I think they will be quite okay with that. And poor Cam just jumped in right in the middle of that. Of that, just like, what is going on? Righty dokey. We are right at the end and perfect timing. So thank you to everyone who has been here on the show and been here watching the show, and of course, thank you to Patrick for being on the show.
Thank you again
what's
for
coming up? Any sneak peeks of cool new things over at the GarageBand Guide that you can give us a little?
You just have to wait and see, Pete. We've got a new app of the week tomorrow, which I couldn't possibly reveal to you now. I think. What have I got planned this week? Yeah, just come over to the website and subscribe, and you'll find out what's going on. Yeah.
Right there, the GarageBand. There is only one GarageBand Guide, so it is the GarageBandGuide.com. So jump on over to the GarageBandGuide.com. Check out all the things that Patrick has going on over there. Always a pleasure, mate. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, Pete.
Thank you for everyone. Have a great week. Keep creating. Be kind to yourself and to others. Keep your hand off your love knob, and we'll see you next time. Take care.